In the vast expanse of spiritual existence, before your consciousness emerged into physical form, a profound agreement was made. Your soul, in its infinite wisdom, didn't randomly appear in your parents' lives. It chose them with deliberate purpose. This sacred selection process is far from coincidental. It represents one of the most significant spiritual contracts you'll ever enter. The parent-child relationship begins long before conception. In the spiritual realm, souls gather to plan their next incarnation, carefully selecting the circumstances that will best serve their growth. As Cayce revealed through his profound insights, we don't simply appear in random families. Instead, we are drawn to specific parents whose life experiences, challenges, and spiritual journeys align perfectly with what our soul needs to learn. This spiritual selection process operates on multiple dimensions simultaneously. Your soul examined countless potential parents, sensing which ones would provide the precise environment needed for your spiritual evolution. Perhaps you required parents who would challenge you in specific ways, or maybe you needed the unique gifts only they could provide. Whatever the reason, your soul made this choice with perfect wisdom, understanding that this particular parent-child relationship would serve the highest purpose for all involved. Consider for a moment the implications of this profound truth. The child who tests your patience isn't doing so by accident. They're fulfilling an agreement made before birth. The daughter who challenges your beliefs isn't being difficult. She's helping you expand your consciousness as promised in the spiritual realm. The son who struggles in ways similar to your own challenges isn't coincidentally mirroring your path. He's continuing a soul journey that has likely spanned multiple lifetimes. When we parent with this awareness, everything changes. Difficult moments transform from random frustrations into spiritually significant opportunities. The child who pushes your buttons isn't simply being troublesome. They're activating precise soul lessons you agreed to work through together. This understanding doesn't necessarily make parenting easier, but it infuses it with profound meaning and purpose. This spiritual contract works both ways. Just as you were chosen by your children, you chose your parents as well. The difficulties you experienced in childhood weren't random misfortunes. They were carefully selected challenges designed to catalyze your spiritual growth. Perhaps you chose parents who would teach you resilience through hardship, or maybe you selected those who would model compassion through their actions. Whatever their strengths or limitations, your parents provided exactly what your soul needed for its evolution. Understanding this spiritual selection process helps us release blame and resentment. How can we remain angry at parents who are fulfilling their role in our soul's journey? How can we resent children who are helping us evolve spiritually as we agreed before birth? This awareness doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it does place it in a broader spiritual context that promotes healing and forgiveness. The next time you look into your child's eyes, remember that a profound spiritual negotiation brought you together. Behind that gaze is a soul that knows you deeply, one that selected you from all possible parents because you offered precisely what was needed. Similarly, when you reflect on your own parents, recognize that your soul chose them with perfect wisdom, understanding that they would provide essential lessons for your spiritual evolution. This sacred agreement transcends the physical world, connecting souls across the boundaries of time and space. It reminds us that parenting isn't merely a biological function, but a spiritual calling of the highest order. By honoring this pre-birth agreement, we transform ordinary family life into a sacred journey of mutual growth and evolution. The bond between parent and child extends far beyond the physical connection. It represents a profound karmic relationship that spans across multiple lifetimes. Each challenge, conflict, and moment of growth within this relationship serves a higher purpose, the resolution of karmic patterns that both souls have carried through numerous incarnations. This karmic dimension adds extraordinary depth to the family experience, transforming everyday interactions into opportunities for spiritual liberation. When your child enters your life with specific struggles or triggers particular emotional responses in you, these are not random occurrences. They are precisely calibrated karmic lessons that both souls have agreed to work through together. The child who challenges your patience may be helping you resolve impatience you demonstrated toward them in a previous life. The parent who struggles to express love may be working through emotional wounds created in earlier shared incarnations. This karmic connection explains why certain parent-child relationships feels so intensely charged with emotion. The frustrations, conflicts, and misunderstandings that arise aren't simply personality clashes. They're the surfacing of unresolved karmic patterns seeking resolution. When you feel triggered by your child's behavior in seemingly irrational ways, you're likely encountering a karmic pattern that requires healing. Similarly, when your child reacts strongly to particular aspects of your parenting, they may be responding to dynamics established in previous shared lifetimes. The beauty of this karmic relationship lies in its potential for mutual healing. By consciously addressing these patterns in the present lifetime, both parent and child have the opportunity to break cycles that may have persisted for centuries. The parent who learns to respond with patience instead of anger doesn't simply improve the current relationship. They heal a wound that may have affected both souls across multiple incarnations. The child who learns forgiveness doesn't just release their parent from blame. They liberate both souls from a karmic cycle that no longer serves their evolution. Consider how this karmic understanding transforms challenging moments in the parent-child relationship. When your teenager rebels against your authority, they may be balancing dynamics from a previous life where you controlled them too rigidly. When you struggle to understand your child's perspective, you may be confronting limitations in compassion that have persisted across lifetimes. These challenges aren't random hardships. They're precisely the spiritual work your souls agreed to tackle together. The most profound relationships often carry the heaviest karmic loads. If you and your child experience intense conflict, this may indicate a deeply significant karmic connection rather than an unfortunate mismatch. The souls with whom we have the most karmic work tend to elicit our strongest emotional responses, precisely because there is so much evolutionary potential in the relationship. The child who seems most difficult to parent may be the one with whom you share the most significant karmic history. This understanding doesn't remove responsibility, rather, it enhances it. Recognizing the karmic dimension of parenting calls us to approach family challenges with greater consciousness and intention. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to either perpetuate old patterns or create new, more evolved responses. When we choose patience over anger, understanding over judgment, or compassion over criticism, we don't simply improve the current relationship. We help both souls break free from limiting karmic cycles. The karmic connection between parent and child also explains the extraordinary sense of recognition many parents feel upon first meeting their child. That inexplicable familiarity, the sense that you've always known this soul, reflects the reality of your shared history across multiple lifetimes. Your souls have indeed known each other before, perhaps in dramatically different roles and relationships. This recognition is your spiritual intuition acknowledging a profound soul connection that transcends your current identities. By embracing this karmic dimension of parenting, we transform everyday family life into a powerful spiritual practice. Each challenge becomes an opportunity for karmic healing, each conflict an invitation to evolutionary growth. The parent-child relationship is not simply a biological arrangement, but a sacred agreement between souls committed to helping each other evolve through the resolution of shared karmic patterns. When we parent with this awareness, we participate consciously in one of the most profound spiritual processes available in human experience, the mutual liberation of souls through love, understanding, and compassion. Your child didn't enter your life merely to learn from you. They arrived with a profound spiritual mission to help you evolve. This reciprocal growth relationship forms the cornerstone of the family's spiritual purpose. While society often emphasizes how parents shape children, the spiritual reality reveals a far more balanced exchange. Children are powerful catalysts for their parents' spiritual awakening, often serving as their greatest teachers. Every child arrives with specific spiritual gifts designed to activate particular aspects of their parents' consciousness. The sensitive child, who requires extraordinary patience, may be developing exactly the virtue you most need to cultivate. The strong-willed child who challenges your authority might be helping you release control issues that have limited your spiritual growth for lifetimes. The child with special needs, who requires unconditional love, may be opening your heart in ways nothing else could accomplish. This understanding transforms how we perceive difficult parenting moments. The child who seems impossibly challenging isn't making your life harder. They're fulfilling their soul's mission to help you evolve beyond current limitations. Their behavior isn't random or meaningless. It's precisely calibrated to target the areas where your soul most needs to grow. What appears as defiance might actually be a sacred invitation to develop greater flexibility. What feels like an impossible demand for attention might actually be calling you to deeper presence and mindfulness. Consider how dramatically parenting changes us. Before having children, many people operate with relatively narrow perspectives and limited emotional ranges. The parenting journey forces expansion in virtually every dimension: greater patience, deeper compassion, more authentic communication, enhanced forgiveness, and profound unconditional love. These qualities represent spiritual virtues of the highest order, yet many people would never develop them without the catalyzing presence of their children. This spiritual mission operates subtly through everyday interactions. When your toddler tests boundaries repeatedly, they're not simply being difficult. They're helping you develop consistency and clear communication. When your teenager questions your values and beliefs, they're not rejecting you. They're inviting you to examine what you truly believe and why. When your adult child makes choices different from yours, they're not betraying your guidance. They're helping you practice acceptance and respect for others' spiritual journeys. The child's mission often targets the precise spiritual lessons their parents most need, but might otherwise avoid. If you struggle with perfectionism, you might receive a wonderfully messy child who forces you to embrace imperfection. If you avoid emotional vulnerability, you might welcome a highly sensitive child who requires deep emotional connection. If you fear uncertainty, you might parent a spontaneous child who continually disrupts your carefully constructed plans. These aren't coincidences, they're spiritually orchestrated opportunities for evolution. Sometimes a child's spiritual mission involves helping parents heal deep wounds from their own childhoods. The parent who didn't receive emotional validation growing up might have a child who absolutely requires emotional attunement, forcing the parent to develop this capacity and heal their own emotional neglect in the process. The parent who experienced harsh discipline might have a child who responds only to gentle guidance, creating an opportunity to break generational patterns of punishment. Through these dynamics, children help parents complete unfinished emotional business from their own development. This reciprocal spiritual growth continues throughout life. Even adult children continue to fulfill their soul's mission in their parents' lives, though the lessons may evolve. The adult child, who pursues an unconventional path, might help aging parents release attachment to social approval. The adult child, who requires support during difficult times, might help parents develop generosity without expectation of return. The adult child who disagrees politically might help parents expand their perspective beyond rigid viewpoints. At every stage, the child remains a spiritual teacher for the parent. Recognizing your child's spiritual mission in your life requires humility and openness. Rather than seeing yourself solely as the teacher and guide, you must be willing to acknowledge yourself as a student receiving precious wisdom through your child. This perspective transforms challenging parenting moments from frustrations to be endured into spiritual opportunities to be embraced. The question shifts from, "Why is my child making this so difficult?" to, "What is my child helping me learn through this experience?" By honoring your child's spiritual mission in your life, you participate more consciously in your own evolution. You recognize that the difficulties of parenting aren't random hardships, but precisely designed spiritual lessons. You understand that your child's challenging behaviors aren't problems to fix, but catalysts for your growth. This awareness doesn't make parenting easier, but it infuses it with profound meaning and purpose. Your child isn't just your offspring, they're your spiritual teacher, guide, and catalyst for awakening, fulfilling exactly the mission their soul intended when it chose you as their parent. The relationship between parent and child transcends the boundaries of a single lifetime. What appears as a new connection in this incarnation is actually the continuation of a profound soul journey that has unfolded across numerous lifetimes. The feelings of immediate recognition, inexplicable bonds, and intuitive understanding between parent and child aren't coincidental. They're echoes of shared experiences spanning centuries of spiritual evolution together. This eternal soul connection explains the extraordinary familiarity many parents feel upon first meeting their newborn child. That overwhelming sense that you've always known this soul, That peculiar feeling of reunion, rather than first meeting, reflects the reality of your shared history. You have indeed known this soul before, perhaps as your parent in a previous life, as your sibling, your friend, your teacher, or even your adversary. The roles may change from lifetime to lifetime, but the souls remain connected in an ongoing dance of mutual evolution. The quality of your current relationship often provides clues to your previous connections. The child with whom you share an effortless understanding may have been your trusted companion through multiple lifetimes. The child with whom you experience immediate conflict may represent a relationship where harmony remains unfinished spiritual work. The child who triggers specific emotional responses in you may be reconnecting precisely to help heal dynamics established in earlier shared incarnations. This perspective of eternal soul connection transforms how we understand family dynamics. Sibling relationships that seem inexplicably charged with emotion likely reflect complex histories spanning multiple lifetimes. The siblings who demonstrate immediate affinity or conflict aren't beginning a new relationship, they're continuing an ancient one, with all its accumulated wisdom and unresolved tensions. Even extended family connections carry this dimension of spiritual continuity, with souls grouping together lifetime after lifetime to continue their collective evolution. Understanding this eternal connection helps explain the extraordinary power of family relationships. No other human bonds affect us as deeply or influence our development as profoundly as these connections with souls we've known across the ages. The love between parent and child contains the accumulated wisdom of countless shared experiences. The conflicts carry the unresolved tensions of multiple lifetimes. Every interaction builds upon a foundation of shared spiritual history that extends far beyond the current incarnation. This eternal perspective also illuminates why certain family relationships feel so charged with purpose. The child who enters your life with specific challenges or gifts may be fulfilling promises made between your souls before either of you incarnated in your current forms. The parent who provides exactly what you need for your spiritual growth, whether through loving support or challenging circumstances, may be honoring agreements established over many lifetimes. These aren't random connections, but carefully orchestrated reunions designed to continue shared spiritual work. When we parent with awareness of this eternal connection, we recognize each interaction as part of a much larger story. The love we express isn't limited to this lifetime, but adds to a reservoir of connection that will sustain both souls across future incarnations. The wisdom we share doesn't merely inform the current relationship, but becomes part of a collective spiritual inheritance that transcends time. Even the conflicts we navigate with consciousness contribute to the evolution of both souls in ways that will manifest across many lifetimes. This eternal perspective also offers profound comfort during life's most difficult transitions. When physical separation occurs through death, the soul connection remains unbroken. The bonds forged between parent and child don't end with the physical body, but continue in the spiritual realm and into future incarnations. This understanding doesn't eliminate grief, but it places it within a larger context of eternal connection that transcends physical existence. The love shared between parent and child becomes part of both souls' eternal nature, never truly lost regardless of physical circumstances. The awareness of this eternal connection invites us to parent with greater consciousness and intention. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to deepen a soul bond that will continue long after the current lifetime ends. The patience we demonstrate, the understanding we develop, the forgiveness we offer, all become part of an eternal spiritual inheritance that both souls will carry forward. By parenting with this awareness, we participate consciously in one of the universe's most profound spiritual processes, the evolution of souls through relationship across multiple lifetimes. This eternal perspective also liberates us from the limitations of conventional roles. The parent-child relationship in this lifetime represents just one configuration in an ongoing dance of souls that will continue to evolve through countless future incarnations. The child you parent today may become your teacher, your healer, or your guide in a future lifetime. The parent who raised you might return as your child, continuing a sacred exchange of wisdom and growth that transcends individual identities. As you reflect on your connections with your children or parents, allow yourself to sense the deeper spiritual history that unites you. Beyond biological ties and social roles lies a profound soul recognition, the awareness that you have known these souls before and will know them again. This recognition infuses family relationships with extraordinary spiritual significance, transforming ordinary interactions into sacred moments in an eternal journey of mutual evolution. In the infinite dance of souls across time and space, your family connections represent some of your most profound spiritual commitments. By honoring these eternal bonds with consciousness and love, you contribute not only to your own evolution, but to the spiritual growth of souls who have accompanied you across countless lifetimes. In this awareness lies one of life's most profound spiritual truths. We are never truly separated from those we love, for the connections between souls transcend all physical boundaries and continue eternally in the great spiritual journey we share together. If this message resonated with your spirit today, take a moment to reflect on the sacred agreement that brought your children into your life, or you into your parents' lives. This understanding can transform your relationships forever. Subscribe now to receive more spiritual revelations that can awaken your consciousness and deepen your understanding of life's sacred purpose. Each video is designed to illuminate another aspect of your spiritual journey. Share your experiences in the comments below. How has recognizing the eternal soul connection with your child or parent changed your perspective? Your story may be exactly what another soul needs to hear today. The wisdom of connection spreads when shared. Like, comment, and subscribe to join our community of spiritual seekers walking this path together.